Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, hi, guys. Just waiting to come live on the. Just waiting to come live. Yes, now I can see. There, yeah, there we are. We are live now. We are live. So, hello, 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 guys. Hello, everybody. Hello out there, wherever you are. This is your girl SP coming to you live here from Solar TV. Coming to you where we discuss issues that affects us here in the community, affect the family, affect our society, affect us raising our children, affect us as individuals, just any issue that affects us, that stops us from being productive, happy individuals in our communities, in our families, and in our private lives, and so on and so forth. So this is where we bring these topics. This is where we discuss this topic, and I'm coming to you live. And I want to, first and foremost say hello to all of you who are watching, to our friends, our families, well wishers all over the world. To those of you who are happy, going through issues, whatever it is. Right now, we bring you good tidings. We bring you love and peace. And we say thank you for joining us. Thank you for wanting to be part of this journey. Thank you for your contributions and your listening and your watching. Thank you for everything, and we appreciate you. And we say without you there is no us. So it is we are gratefully appreciative of you joining us. I just want to remind us. You can watch us here live on Facebook. You can watch us on YouTube, Solap TV. You can watch us. You can follow us on and on TuneIn. Listen on TuneIn if you don't have the screen to watch. Listen on TuneIn. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and so on and so forth. And you can call in as we discuss the topic, as we're discussing what makes the show the people's show is because there is possibility of discussion, because everybody can call in and contribute. People can text in and contribute their experiences, what they've gone through, or what they've seen other people go through, or advice for people who are actually going through some of the issues, some of the topics that we will be raising and discussing. So that is unique to our show. So it's your show, it's the people's show. We're all here to learn. I've always said it, I love learning. And as we discuss, I learn from you, you learn from me, we learn from each other, and we can make the society better. We can make our home happy homes, we can make our community productive community, and we can be happy individuals in our respective lives, families, and communities, and society at large. So I once again want to say thank you for coming today, for joining us today. I might take just a few minutes to say hello to those of you who have joined already. Hi MC, I hail you. Hi Theophilus. I'm Ernest. Hello Ernest. Hi Rodney. Hi Darcy Isaac. I hail you guys for joining. Thank you very much. I so much appreciate you coming and joining us for today's topic. So I'm gonna let it loose. The topic that we will be discussing today is anger. I think I put it on my face timeline just a little bit too late, but it's anger. We are going to be talking about anger. Seeing that everything we're talking about is about the family, about raising children, because to be honest, when we're raising children, we're raising us. Like I've always said, no parenthood, no childbearing mother or parenthood comes with a parenthood kind of handbook. Everybody learns. We all learn as we go along. And there is just so many challenges in our lives. There are so many challenges, so many things that interrupts this journey, so many things that kind of derails the purpose of this journey, that want to put Gary in the water, as the Nigerians will say it. I'm going to put water in the Gary, or sand in your Gary. I think I've lost my Nigerian bit. No, I can still remember. Something that puts sand in your Gary. And that is a lot of things that are the challenges that we face common day in these days that we're in, this dispensation, there is just too many challenges. And one of those challenges is our emotion. And one of the emotions that we want to talk about today is anger. Why are we so quick to anger? Why are we so quick to react? Why are we so quick to judge? Why are we so quick to condemn, so to behave in a way that is not becoming of human beings? I came up with this topic, this anger issue, today because of a few things that happened last week. And a few things that I've seen, on social media, on messages that people have sent me last week and the week before. And I thought that maybe this is the right time to discuss this issue, anger. The lack of control that people have these days on their emotion, the lack of control these days that people have in their reactions to things, the lack of control that people have these days in everything, in anything, As we discuss the family, as we discuss the progress of the family, as we discuss the survival of the family, because let me tell you something, the survival of the family is in jeopardy. As we discuss this, we need to start to pick apart all those things that is the thorn in our side, the thorn in the side of the family, the thorn in the strength of the family. And one of those issues is anger. Anger. I remember, I think it was in 2016, one day, this happened to me, it's a while back, but it's still fresh in my mind because I had to go through a lot of trauma because of that. I remember one morning I was driving to work and I was coming through a bend, and on that bend, another car was coming from the other end, and you can see it. Some bends are not very clear. It's an alleyway, and there's like a little blind spot, and a car was coming from the opposite direction, and you can see the car zoomed into the bend. Naturally, if you're driving a bend, you should drive it nicely curved, but this lady drove right into the middle of the bend. And if I didn't brake, if I wasn't that fast in braking, she would hit me on that bend. And all I did as a good citizen, as somebody, and by the way, I was going on my nursing work, so I was in a good mood going out to treat patients and things like that. And I just put my window, and noticing that she had a child in the car, I just put my window down and said, you do realize that you're driving very dangerously on the bend. You have a child in the car, you should be actually very careful because you could actually harm this child. But before I could even finish saying what I was saying, this lady picked a handful of coin, £2, 2p coins. If you lived in England, you know that 2p coins is quite large. She just picked a handful of 2p coin, bam, onto my face. One of them went into my eye, and my eye, the water in my eye did shake, and it took quite a while to settle. And I think since then I've been wearing glasses. And this was what you called road rage. Road rage, because I tried to say to somebody, you could actually harm yourself, not just me, but even the child in your car. And she didn't even want to listen, and just reacted like that. She didn't think. And when I was considering the topic for today, which is anger, that came back in my mind, and I thought that was anger. That was unchecked emotion. That was anger at its worst. And those of you, not just in England, we've all heard so many stories about people being killed on the road because of anger. Oh, you did this, you did that, somebody hit somebody and they die. And we've seen people, there has just been so many stories about road rage and so on and so forth, and that is anger, unchecked emotions. And then you hear about families, about husband and wives. Perhaps the wife has caught the husband cheating or something and done something in anger. I've got a lot of messages that's been sent to me because I'm discussing some of the things before I bring it up. I discuss in close circles and things like that. People have been sending me messages and telling me what they've seen or what they've heard or what they know and so on and so forth. And we've heard of wives who've really mutilated their husband because they caught them cheating without being in checking their emotions, or somebody just hit somebody and they die. My mom told me a story one time about a close relative a husband and wife. They had an argument. Even this was happening in the village. So what I'm saying is not just happening in the cities. You know, this is to our problem. It extends far beyond the realm of United Kingdom. It's all over the world. And my mom told me this story about this close relative had a little argument with the husband, and the husband just hit the wife with I think it was a mortar or something like that, and she just passed away. And he just picked her up and put her on the bed like nothing happened, so that people would think she died in her sleep. Unfortunately, the child saw it. This is unchecked anger. You've seen on TV, I saw on TV, I think it was on the news, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where a young guy was sentenced to 3 years because he had a knife and he was actually going at a car like that. He was actually hitting the car, trying to break into the car to harm the people inside the car. What got into this young guy? Anger. What drove him to that anger? We've seen parents, chastise their children. This is not chastisement anymore. This is more like brutally, harm their children, and the kids die. We've seen that a lot. This is anger. And some of this anger, to be honest, it goes on the borderline to being evil. It's not just anger anymore, because why I'm talking about this is because some of this has gotten to the point where it is evil. It's not just anger anymore, and that is why it's close to my heart, because people are losing their life because of this unchecked emotion. People are losing their lives, and we've seen it too often here in England. You've all seen the news. You can see the news of how maybe a stepdad has killed a child, or a mom has killed a child, or whatever, or siblings or children going out and maiming each other, maiming each other. There's just been so many reasons why something is actually happening. Just 1 minute. I have some interference, and yeah, I think you probably can hear it. So I'm just looking to make sure that it's none of the things that I have here that is interfering, because I can hear that. Okay, yeah, going back to the topic. So, what I was saying, we have seen so many times in the news people losing their lives because of anger. And I begin to ask myself, has it always been like this? Why are we so quick to anger? Why don't we have our emotions in check anymore? Why can't we take a second, a few minutes to analyze things before reacting? Why are we now so quick? We react first and then ask question later. What has gotten into us? And this extends to the family, to the point that you can see parents disowning their child, children disowning their parents. You can even see now that some children are going to the point of killing their parents, or the parents killing their children. And this is why this is so baffling to me, and perhaps baffling to a lot of you, and we always say that it will never happen to me, or it doesn't concern me because it's not happening within my realm, it's not happening within my network, within my family and friends and so on and so forth. But boy, it is happening in the society, and the society belongs to all of us. It's happening in our community, and our community belongs to all of us. What is it that is driving us to the point where we're acting before thinking? What is taking our thinking faculties away from us? What has gotten into us to the point where we are all at the mercy of, sometimes you're even a danger to your own self? Because to be honest, a lot of us are reacting sometimes that way. we are not checking. We don't check our angers. We react now and then think later. And a lot of the things that people have sent me in this past 2 weeks, to be honest, is glory. They're too heart-wrenching to be showing, but yet some of them are showing. I think the last thing I saw was this. I think it was this morning, yesterday, just close to early morning, when a lady was beating another lady to pulp. I know she committed a serious crime because apparently she caught her sleeping with her husband. So of course, in that case, you would see that she would react like that. But you know, to me, sometimes certain reaction is too much for the act, for the sin. She's committed a grave sin. You know, sleeping with her best friend's husband, that is a grave sin. But she almost killed her. In fact, she was looking for a knife. And I'm sure that if there was a knife close to where she was, she would have slit the woman's throat or stabbed her to death or something. And that is unchecked anger. I'm not saying she should not react to the betrayal. She should 100% react to the betrayal. However, she should also keep her emotion in check. And not only did she react to the betrayal, she was filming it and reacting to it. And I think these days there is a lot. This is not in isolation to me. I'm sure that all of you, every one of us, has seen one video or the other. In fact, maybe hundreds and hundreds of videos of anger everywhere. I saw one last week where a young girl was being nakedly humiliated because she's not, paying her masters the money that she's supposed to pay them because she got pregnant, and she is being humiliated nakedly and branded all over social media. Because once they film it, they post it. That is on unchecked anger. What is going to become of that young girl? What is going to become of her? She might be in those kind of trade, but doesn't she have shame, conscience? What is going to become of her? And what is with these people that are going about doing something like this? Are they better than the child that they were exposing like that? Isn't that unchecked anger? But to be honest, for you to be, assaulting somebody and filming it, it's not just an unchecked anger, it's a crime. It's a crime. So you see, this topic has come to me because I've seen so many things. I see these days, people just get angry for very little thing. You can't chastise people no more. You can't tell people off no more. You can't correct people anymore. You can't reason with people anymore. When things are happening, people step away. People stay away because they don't know how the person they're trying to, talk to is going to react. People are wandering in the street with weapons. Weapons that can maim, not just maim, but can actually take lives. And this is dangerous. This is dangerous to society. This is dangerous to our community. This is dangerous to us. Not just to the person carrying the weapon, not just the person that is getting angry, but the person they got angry on. This is the issue. And I am asking you guys out there, have you been in a position, have you been pushed to a point where you got so angry that you couldn't control yourself and you just reacted? Have you gotten to a point where you lost yourself? Because reacting in anger is actually losing yourself. Have you gotten to a point where you lost your mind? You couldn't think? Have you gotten to a point where it all went black, or you didn't know what to do and just lashed out? Have you been in that situation? Have you been at the receiving end of anger, of unchecked anger? We would like to hear your experience. Maybe it's happening in your family. Maybe you're a wife who is being brutalized by a husband because his anger is not on check. Maybe you're a wife who is brutalizing your husband because your anger is not on check. Maybe you're a child who is being abused every day because the parent's anger is not on check. Maybe you are the one that is losing your anger on your children because your anger is not in check. We would like to hear from you. We'd like to hear your experiences. Maybe you've experienced it. Maybe you've lost somebody due to anger. Maybe you are, going through certain things right now because of anger. To be honest, this emotion called anger goes way deeper than just that reaction. You know, it goes way deeper than that. Some people are so angry with themselves that they start to harm themselves. They're so angry, as coming from my professional side, you know, the medical side of me, I've seen it too often. People are so angry with themselves that they start to mutilate themselves. Some people are so angry with themselves that they want to take their own lives. Why are you so angry with yourself? Because you don't think you're that intelligent. You don't have the car that your friends have. You don't look as certain way that the society wants you to look. You don't conform to certain groups. You're not that hip or whatever. You don't have the, what is it called? I don't know. Swag. What is it? What is pushing you to the point where you are actually being unfair to yourself, unfair to your family, unfair to your community? What is pushing you to the point where you have now let your anger control you? I know the saying that a lot of you might have heard it: he who controls you makes you angry. And that is between two people. However, how is it? How about when the anger is you directing it to yourself and doing things to harm yourself because you're angry, either with yourself or with somebody else? How about that? Have you stopped to think? Have you stopped to think? Have you seen people who are possibly in danger because they lose their anger so often? In danger to themselves and danger to society, to people around them, because they lose their anger so much, a lot. As I am thinking about it, as I'm wondering about it, I know that in this world there's a lot of like minds, like, you know, people. We a lot of us think alike, a lot of us reason alike, a lot of us see things the same way. However, a lot of us don't. Some people might think that it's all right to react without thinking. It's all right to do things, just do it because you can do it without thinking, and then, you know, face the consequences later. But have we lost the feelings? Have we lost our disciplines? Have we lost control of ourselves? And those of you who are perhaps thinking the way I'm thinking, you may notice it. You may have gone through it yourself, or you may know about somebody who's going through it. What do you think? Should we start to think? Should we start to look within ourselves? Should we start to watch around us to see what is happening around us and try to help each other out of this dilemma? Well, that's what today is about. It's about us exposing this danger, this grave danger that faces all of us right now, today, since the past it's been happening. And I think the anger sometimes clouds our mind to the point where, like I said, we can't think. And then you start regretting what you've done. But by then it's too late, because already the damage is done. I don't know if some of you saw the story, because one of the story, I mean, it might be not true story, but the story makes so much sense that's why we said you need to think before reacting. Maybe you've seen the story or heard the story or read it or something like that, or, you know, heard people talk about it. And that's the story of this young guy, or a child, who was inscribing something into the dad's car. And the dad just saw, all the dad saw is that the child was, you know, spoiling the car, and then started hitting the child's hand with a hammer or something like that. Can't remember what exactly the object he took, and want to hit he was actually hitting that child's hand with that object, and smashed the finger to pieces, and then took the child to hospital. And in hospital, I think the child asked, when will my fingers grow back, because they're so broken, so damaged, you know, with the little innocent face, innocent eyes, and the innocent voice asks, Dad, when will my finger grow back? You know, it touched his heart, but it was too late. And what did he do? He went back. What did he see? What was the child inscribing on the car? He was inscribing that he loves his dad. You see? Look at the action. Look at the reaction. Look at what he did. Of course, the child doesn't know the consequences of scribing in a car because, of course, there's damage in the car. But does that damage warrant losing the fingers? He could have watched. He could have thought, considered the situation before reacting the way he reacted. And now he's maimed his child forever. I'm not sure if this was a true story, but we have seen more grave stories that are true than that. We have seen people who have actually been killed because of anger. Yeah, we've seen that happen. I was talking to a friend I think it was 3 weeks ago, and this friend told me how a close person to them walked home and saw his wife with some other guy. What did he do? He just walked back on a 5-story building and jumped off the balcony and killed himself. That is uncontrolled emotion. And to be honest, that is anger. It's not, he lost his mind. He was so angry he lost his mind. And what did he do? He killed himself. For what? For somebody who doesn't care about you? For somebody who's going to carry on living their lives? You lost your life for nothing. And what, he didn't even think how losing his life was going to affect his mom, his dad, his children. He didn't think. That is unchecked anger, uncontrolled anger. That's uncontrolled anger. I have a lot of stories like that, of people getting so angry that they harm themselves. And this is where, for me, this is where it touches, this is where it's so I can't understand it. I can't even begin to imagine, to put myself in the shoes of these people who are pushed to the point where they are doing this, where they're losing themselves to the point that they've lost total control. This is dangerous. This is I don't understand it. I can't understand it. And that is why, for me, we need to be discussing this issue. Going back to trying to raise our children and the anger that comes into it. We have a call. I'm not sure this is an international call. It might be Hello, who's on the line? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, who's on the line?
My name is Ava Lawson, and I'm calling from Super Alliance Solutions.
Okay.
Now, I've got this information about the accident in which you were innocent. Is that right?
Okay. That was a cold call. All right. Yeah, we got rid of that one. All right. We get those kind of calls a lot in England. People calling to sell you something. That's fine. So going back to our discussions about the family, I just want to, touch the base. I came across, I'm just going to regress a little bit. I came across a young guy 2 weeks ago, very young guy, 15 years old. And what struck me so is the fact that this was a very handsome, intelligent, strong, healthy child. They're so angry. They're so angry with society. They're so angry with themselves. They're so angry with their parents that they just want to end it all. And that brings me back to our family, to our children, to the way we're trying to give them solid foundation, to the way we're trying to raise them, to the way we're trying to not just raise them, but make them positive contributors, happy individuals in the community, productive individuals. And I've come across, not just because for me to mention that is because I've come across a lot of them like that. They're just ready to throw in the towel. And they're just so angry. And you can't pinpoint what the anger is. Why have they gotten so angry, so frustrated? But you want to help. You want to touch them. You want to bring peace to their mind. Another incoming call. Let's see who's online. Hello, who's online? Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Harry.
Hello, can you hear me? Why is my call being answered on the inside? I picked the call up, but the call is not, oh yeah, okay. We have the call back. So, yes, let's carry on. So, it brings me to the point of what I'm talking about. Where did we lose our way? Where did we lose our angles? Where did we lose our emotion? Where did we lose our direction? How did we get to this point where these days, to be honest, I've seen children getting so angry at their parents, or their parents getting so angry that there is no communication. They can't communicate. They're so wide apart, so far apart. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Who's on the line?
Hi, it's Hurley.
Hi, Hurley. How are you?
Sorry, I tried to call, but I think something went wrong.
Oh, yes, all right. You're online now. Yes, Hurley. Have you been listening to the conversation?
Yes, I have.
What do you have? You know, the topic today is anger, still based on, family and so on and so forth, the challenges. But we're looking at this emotion, anger, because we've seen so many. I think everybody has seen lately how anger has been displayed, has been put on public display through the different means. People not being in check of their anger and just reacting before, asking questions. Anything you want to contribute, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah. So, I was thinking about it, and I'm not really sure why or what it is that has made people so angry these days. But I think in order to make a change and to just help to I guess everyone gets angry, but it depends on how they show or whether they are aggressive about it. That's when it becomes like a problem for society and for those around them. But I think it's important that that we, show love and kindness. And I think if we're just genuinely nice to people and kind to people, they don't have a reason to be angry. And so everyone just has to, rather than thinking about ourselves, because I guess people do that a lot, we just think about ourselves and not really how our actions can affect other people, which may make them angry. If we are a little bit more selfless in our day-to-day, we can help other people, or just, help them not have that opportunity to get angry, or even if someone is angry at us or aggressive at us, if we're like you were when you told that story, you were with the lady who's doing the coins, that you were calm about it. If we do that rather than getting angry at them as well, then it just makes it better for everyone.
So in your case, like looking at the being a Christian and what Christ said, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
or be understanding. So you're saying that we should be understanding and not react as they are reacting and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course that is the case. We should be, not reacting, not fueling the anger. However, what my problem is, when the anger is so severe that there is no turning back, that they've harmed somebody, like as we've seen in public display. Have you seen how people has been killed, been burnt alive, been killed, just publicly killed, because of public anger, people's anger or something like that? Even some of them
Yeah.
false accusation and so on and so forth. What do we do in those instances? Because it's not just isolated to individuals, it's now getting into the public domain, that where people are just, everybody, if one person says, oh, this one done that, a lot of people gathers and joins and just angrily do things that are really, really dangerous. What do we do about that?
I mean, I don't know. I don't. There's only, if you're faced with, I mean, it's up to that person, right? If they have to be able to want to change, have to acknowledge where the anger is coming from, how it's affecting those around them, and there's lots of resources out there. You know, people can see the doctors or therapists, or just like if they read up about anger and stuff like that. But they have to they have to be able to recognize the effects that their anger is having on people, and maybe just helping people be aware. Maybe that's it. Like, a lot of people aren't aware of, or maybe they are. I don't know. They just have to have perspective, I guess. I don't know.
Have you been on the receiving end of anger, or have you dished it out, if I may use that word, although that word doesn't even do it justice? Yeah.
Pardon?
Have you been on the receiving end of anger, or been the one that got angry to a point where you're losing control?
Yeah, definitely both.
But you haven't harmed anybody through your anger, right?
I hope not.
Okay. That's I really appreciate your honesty and so on and so forth. And like you said, yes, people need to realize. I think what it is that people need to start to realize, like, just like every other thing, just like every other challenges and addiction and so on and so forth and issues. People need to realize that they have a problem. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
They realize that they have a problem and they seek help for their problem. I do appreciate that. That is a really great point, a really great thing you've raised there. And we will remind our viewers, people who are listening, people who will be seeing this at some point, to actually know that if you have an anger issue, there is help. You can seek help before it is too late. If you're in the Western world, you can seek medical help. You can seek counseling. You can see your GP. You can seek counseling through your church, through your mosques, through your community. You can seek help. You can get involved in different different activities that kind of diverts and try to change that behavior and so on and so forth. There is help out there, and that is true. Absolutely. Thank you very, very much, Holy. That is absolutely true. People can seek help to change the way they behave, the way they react to issues that are challenging to them. But what about those of you who are where you can't seek help? How do we begin to help those people? How do we begin to help those already who've lost their mind, who've lost their cool to the point that they've actually caused a lot of damage? How do we help those ones? How do we help those families that are being destroyed because of anger? What do we do? I'll tell you a story. I have a friend, family friend. I'm not going to mention name. Thank you, Holy, for calling in. I know you're listening, so thank you. We appreciate your call. Let me tell you this story. A friend told a friend of mine that one day the child just came up to them with a knife and wanted to kill them. He was furious. He was absolutely fuming. He was ready to slit their mom's throat. Take this seriously, because this is why this topic for me is so hard touch, so like I don't even have word to qualify it. They want to kill their mom. And this young man, through pleading and so on and so forth, when they asked, what is your reason? Why do you want to do this? When they finally calmed him down, he said his mom is his enemy. Why is your mom your enemy? They asked. He said when he was growing up, he got into different problems. He had so many challenges. And each of the time he got into one problem or the other, he felt, now he thinks so, but when he was going through them, he didn't think so. He felt that his mom or his parents were not strict enough. They didn't play their parent role enough to deter him from committing crime or getting into some of the problems and some of the challenges that he had to face as a child. And for that, where he found himself today, which is at this turning point where he wants to take his mom's life, he got there because they weren't good parents, because they couldn't parent him. Had they been strict enough and parented him well enough, then he would have ended up better than he is today. And that's why he blames his mom. He says, you are the parent, you should know, you knew better. I was a child, I didn't know anything. And that hit me. You know why that hit me? In a way, he made a great point. A parent is a parent because you're a parent. You're a parent to care. You've been given a divine duty to bring up a child, to bring up children, to turn them into responsible, productive, happy adults. But somehow along the line, you failed. And I'm not saying the parent failed because it's only their fault. Parents failed not just because of them. It could be from both sides. It is the challenges that we're talking about. There's all these challenges that is forcing them to fail, that is creating this hurdle for failure. But what this child did not think is the fact that when they were being the way they were, when they were going through all this trouble, causing all this harm, doing all this crime and whatever, the mother was as stern as she could be. She did what she thought was the best. However, the child did not listen perhaps because of the gang, of the group he was with. However, when he grew up and his life was ruined, he thought it was the mother's fault because the mother wasn't strict enough. And you can see how you feel pity for the child and feel pity for the parent. That is why we're talking about this. Can you see what anger led this child to? What of this lack, this failure in the home, where it led this child to? And we have so many countless of stories, different stories, and like this. And this, what I'm telling you, happened not too far away from me. So it's something that I know, that I've experienced. So it's not a made-up story. And there's a lot of them like that. And then you ask yourself, what has become of us? Why is the family under so much attack, under so much strain? Why? As a Christian, you would probably think it's because we're losing our ways. We've lost our ways. But not just Christian. In fact, as human beings, we've lost our ways. We've lost our conscience. We've lost our heart, our feelings. We've lost everything. And that is why we've gotten to a point where anger rules us. On that note, just hold on. Let me just take a look and say hello to some of the people who's come to join us, and then we'll get back to you. Hello, Jan Dulac. It's called Dulac. Alumo Theodora. Hi, hi Theodora. Hi, Clive. Hi, Fatimir. Somebody said, MC said, failing to deal with anger is a positive and healthy way. Failing to deal with anger in a positive and healthy way can only lead to anxiety, self-disruption, possible emotionally breakdown, and regret. Absolutely. I don't know if you heard what I read, but that was the message from MC DG. And what he said is 100% true. That if you fail to deal with your anger positively, it will, lead to emotional breakdown and regret. And that is it, emotional breakdown and regret. And that is what I've been coming in contact with. This emotional breakdown, I've come across them so many times, both in my professional life and in my private life. Not me, but have seen it, and which led me to want to talk about this challenge today. People keep so many things bottled up, and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up until it blows. And sometimes we direct the anger that is not, you direct it to the wrong person. And when you have emotional, like you said, emotional breakdown, who do you harm? You can harm yourself. You can harm the person, close to you, even somebody who doesn't even know you, because it spreads like wildfire. And that's what I've seen. Too many emotional breakdown. I think you used the right word, MC. That's absolutely the right word, emotional breakdown. So how do we begin to help those people? I think just like addiction, just like alcohol addiction or drug addiction or some other addictions that are out there, because there's a lot of addictions, I must tell you guys. The same thing, anger, the same thing, they seek for help. Somebody who has anger issue should seek for help. Whether I be a child, whether I be an adult, it doesn't matter what age, it doesn't matter where you are. If you have an anger issue, you should seek help, because you're not good to yourself, you're not good to the society. And let me tell you something. With anger, you cannot be productive. You can't be productive. Anger is very destructive. And that is why we need to be talking about this. We have seen how this destructiveness has led so many people down the wrong path. Wrong path. They've made so many wrong decisions because of, having lost themselves, having broken down. Like I said, are you somebody who's losing yourself because of anger? Are you somebody who's at the receiving end of anger? Somebody who's lost themselves? Are you about to lose yourself? We would like to hear from you. Are you, a professional who looks after these people, who looks after somebody, who can give advice on this particular issue? We would like to hear from you. The number to call is on screen, is +447 399 343 199, and the other number is +447 440 721 474. That's the number to call. And you can also call them on WhatsApp. Perhaps if you're calling from abroad, you can call the local number. You can call that, because that's a WhatsApp number as well. You can call us through WhatsApp as well to contribute, because we'd really like to hear from you, what you think. If you've been at the receiving end of anger, controlled anger, or if you've been at the if you are the one that is dishing it out. Of course, it might be very difficult for somebody to call and tell us that they are the one that is dishing out the anger, because people might recognize you or so on and so forth. But let me tell you something. Admitting that you have a problem is the first step to actually solving that problem. Because once you can recognize that you have this problem, once you can recognize that this is an issue, that this is something that's destroying your life, that this is something that can potentially destroy your future, your family, your anything, then of course that is you're halfway towards recovering, towards turning a leaf, towards becoming a new person. So even if you can't call in to recognize that you have an anger issue, do recognize it within yourself where you are right now watching, or where you'll be watching us, wherever you will watch us from. Just to remind you, you're watching us here live on Solab TV. Hold that thought while I pick up the phone. Hello, who's on the line? Hello.
Oh, Matthew on the line.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi, good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you?
I'm okay.
Well, have you been hearing our discussion? The topic for the discussion today is on anger.
Yes.
Well, we would really, really like to hear what you have to say. Have you been on the receiving end of anger, or are you the one that's possibly dished it out to somebody else? Because we have seen, both on social media and not just social media, publicly, how people have been reacting to anger and, causing really, really harm to themselves or to other people. And this issue has just, has touched me, and I thought it's time to discuss that. We would really like to hear your contribution. Thank you, Matthew.
Okay. So basically, I would start by saying that anger in itself is not a problem.
Okay.
So it's how anger is used or executed that is the problem.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Well, because as a human being, it's our nature to get angry when we are upset,
Mm-hmm.
when we feel threatened, when we feel cheated
Mm-hmm.
or tricked. These are, if you don't get angry when all these things happen to you, that means something is not right with you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to check yourself, because it is part of us to get angry.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel scared, or when you feel that, something is about to happen or have happened and you can't control it. This is anger, and also anger can become a very big issue. As I said, is how you use it or how it affects you that matters.
So hold on a moment. So what you're trying to say is that anger is a form of defense to yourself.
Naturally, it is. But then there's other problems that now, when you add it to anger, it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, if one is frustrated already, if one is going through maybe a divorce, family-related issue, or going through court, or going through so many things, that could actually aggravate the anger in you, and that can actually make the anger in you a problem. So basically, you become violent. You can turn one into a violent human being. it can disrupt your life. It can disrupt the life of people around you. Anger can also destroy your family, and it can also destroy your social life
Mm-hmm.
and your financial life.
Yeah.
Because when you're always angry, you can hardly work. You can't work. You can't communicate with
Mm-hmm.
people properly. You can't do your job properly because you're angry. Because
Absolutely. Hold on to that thought. That's exactly what I was saying. That if you're angry, you can't be productive.
no,
You know, when you. But I understand the anger, which is the defense mechanism which you're talking about. Like you said,
yeah,
everybody gets
mm,
angry. But the anger
everybody
that
does.
I'm facing here, the anger that I'm talking about here, is those anger that are destructive. Those anger that pushes somebody to the edge where they lose themselves. You know,
Yeah,
the normal angry that everybody gets is fine, but I'm talking about the anger that has seen so many people dead, anger that has seen so many people maimed, anger that have destroyed communities and so on and so forth, destroyed
yeah,
family. You know, this is the
yes,
anger that I have issue with, and which
yes,
possibly we all have issue with.
yes.
Mm. Have you perhaps
So
been on the receiving end of that, or known anything like that, or heard or seen? Perhaps, because I mean, we all been seeing news circulating and so on and so forth, and we read newspapers, we see it on the news and so on and so forth. You know, of what is happening.
yes, uh, to say that I haven't been on the other side of it or haven't, you know, lost it once in time, then that means I'm lying.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have, we all have all done something that we end up regretting.
Mm-hmm.
We've all done something, probably something you said out of anger,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end of the day, you feel, you know, angry again for what you said when you were angry.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you can't take that back now.
Yes.
You know, so anger can only makes one tired.
Mm.
It makes you feel unwanted. It makes you feel frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, anger can is only lead to destruction, high blood pressure.
Mm-mm.
You know, so basically, what I've got to say is this is a very serious topic.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely. Absolutely.
is not a topic that can just be swept under the carpet
Mm.
or just ignored or just dealt with in a with a childish way. It's a very serious thing. A lot of people out there are going through you know anger related issues which have led them to getting locked up,
Mm-hmm.
getting tied up in bed or chained somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
because they couldn't control their anger,
Yeah.
because they did not seek help when they needed to seek help, or no one really was there to help them deal with what they were going through. They were probably confused. They probably don't know what was happening to them.
Mm.
But anger is very tricky.
Absolutely. Hold that thought. I just
Mm.
want to, echo what you said. Anger is something that is a big challenge to everybody, big challenge to community, big challenge to family, big challenge to children, big challenge to all of us. And like
Yeah.
you said, with anger, you can't be productive. With anger, you cannot think straight. With anger, you lose yourself. With anger, you destroy things. And let me tell you, it's not just the anger where you pick up something and harm somebody or harm yourself. There's also
Yeah.
the anger where something somebody has said has resulted in somebody else harming themselves. So this anger is not just the deed, but the words as well. So it's a much, much, much serious issue that we as people, as society, need to face and try to solve.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say that here in England, we have so many different ways that people can, get hold and control and get control and try to come out of this kind of danger, this kind of trouble. You can do that by seeking help through the NHS. NHS is there, is readily available. You have your GP, your general practitioners. You have your NHS, your accident and emergencies. You have your community clinics, your walking clinics. You have your counseling services, the talking services. You have your friends of NHS services. There is so many services. You have the church counseling services in different churches. You have through your mosques, your community engagement. There is just so many places you can seek help if you're here in England, and I think also around in the European Western culture. There is so many help out there available for you to go and try and resolve the issues or whatever that is, help making you lose yourself, lose who you are, lose your emotions. However, for people who doesn't have the fortune of seeking help, you can also talk to people around you. You can also seek help through your church, through your community engagement, through your community meetings, and so on and so forth, through your mosques. It doesn't always have to be through the health service, because not every country has a public health service. So you can also seek help through a different means, through your friends and family, through talking it through with people that you know. Because like I said, the first step to acknowledging that you have a problem, the first step to resolving this issue of anger is to acknowledge that you have a problem, that you have an anger issue. And once you can acknowledge that, then you are on your way to resolving it and on to mending and to getting back yourself. Yeah. So Matthew.
Yeah. So basically, we need to anger is something that needs to be accepted. Is like accepting who you are. You cannot suppress anger. You cannot repress anger, because by so doing, you are only creating more problem for you and people around you. Because the day you finally explode, is gonna be regretful and damaging to not just you, but people around you. So it's basically, is that you need to accept it. You need to accept anger is a natural thing. It's a natural phenomenon. And we need to teach our children and young ones and the adults how to manage and express it more productively or constructively.
Well, thank you very much for your contribution, Matthew. Thank you all of you who's joined us today to watch the program. You're watching us here on Solab TV. You can also listen to us on TuneIn. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all of them. And yeah, and we appreciate you coming to join us to discuss the issues that affect us, affect the family, affect the community. The family is under attack, and like I said, if the community is under, the family is under attack, the community is under attack, and that is our society, because the family is the society, and that means we are all under attack. And as we were talking today, the issue today is anger, uncontrolled anger, this emotion that can drive people to a point where they lose themselves, and then they hurt themselves or hurt other people. Like I've narrated a few stories to you, I've been at the receiving end of other people's anger for no reason, and a lot of you probably has seen it, have felt it, have seen people go through it, or people who are going through it, or you've been at the receiving end as yourself. Families out there, a lot of families out there are being at the receiving end, either the husband or the wife or the children. But my point as well is, what happens to the children who are watching these angers at home, who are watching this issue being blown out at home? What happens to them? What kind of children are we bringing up? What kind of adults will they become after going through all those things, after watching those things, after absorbing those things? What kind of children will they become? We need to be looking at that. We also need to be looking at how we go about resolving this issue. On that note, I would say keep watching, keep discussing, don't let it go. You need to acknowledge that you have a problem. Keep discussing it, keep talking among your friends. And if you have this problem, I advise you, I implore you, I please plead with you to seek help before it is too late. Go and seek help wherever you can find help. Seek help. You can contact us if you don't know where to find help. Contact us and we'll try and find that help for you, because that's what we're about. We're here to discuss and to help resolve issues that affect us and affect our families and affect our society and affect us all at large. We want to be happy, productive people, and that is what we are about. And we want to help you get there as well. We want to help you get there. So please, do call on us if you have an issue, and we will help you find where to get that help. And those of you who have been watching, I want to thank you again. Hi Uche, thank you for joining. Hi Sadia, thank you for joining. Hi Og, thank you for joining. Hi Chris, thank you for joining with me. Hi Clive, thank you for joining. I appreciate all of you who's joined us today, and we're very, very grateful that you're able to join us to discuss this issue. Like you all know, the topic for today is anger. We are discussing how anger is ruining families, how anger is ruining our society, how anger is ruining people, how people are losing themselves because of anger and doing things that they should normally not do. Things that it's like react now and then think later. I've been at the receiving end of anger. People have called me and sent me message and texted me and so on and so forth. Hence I thought it was important for us to have this discussion today, to talk about it, and for some of us to realize that we have a problem before it becomes too late. For some of us to realize that we have a problem and to seek help before it becomes too late. Because to be honest, you lose yourself in anger, you do something you shouldn't have done, and then you regret it later. And people have lost their lives, they've lost their limbs, they've lost livelihood, they've lost families, they've lost so much, they've lost a lot because of anger, because of people reacting in anger. And I don't think I will finish without just bringing into what is happening right now back home in Nigeria. I see a lot of anger in the street of Nigeria right now, and I really, really, really want to implore all of you out there to be cautious, to have your emotions in check. I know that the country is in that need, in that distress and trouble at the moment, but you should all do well to have your anger in control and don't go about maiming each other, killing each other, destroying properties and so on and so forth, because later somebody has to pick up the pieces. And if you think that you're harming somebody, it doesn't concern you, it's not about you, let me tell you something, it is about all of us. It is about all of us. And some of us is too close to home, and some people is not too close to home for them. But ultimately, it's about human behavior. Human behavior we should be learning to be in check of our emotions. And if you can't, then it's time to seek help. It's time to seek help. And also, I don't want to finish without reminding parents who are raising children that if you're having problems in the family, please, please, please don't express that anger that is uncontrollable in front of your children, because that leaves a lasting impression on the kids. It leaves a lasting impression on them. Don't express uncontrollable anger on your spouses. You can have your arguments or whatever in private without your children watching, because I don't see how you can be a good role model for the children that you're trying to bring up if you cannot control your anger in front of them, if you cannot have a normal conversation in front of them, because the way you bring them up, that's how they're going to turn up. And I also implore all the children out there to be respectful of their parents and so on and so forth, because society lives on that. We are all, happy people. We want to be happy people. Somebody's on the line. Oh, Matthew.
Yes.
Oh, Matthew's on the line. Yes. Matthew, I got carried away with my, talking. You're still online. Do you like to make another contribution before we finish?
Yes.
Okay, go on then, please. And thank you for staying online, please.
So I just want to say thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And I would like to contribute again on this topic probably next week, because this should be an ongoing topic.
Mm-hmm.
Is large
Mm-hmm.
and very, very important, because families been destroyed
Mm-hmm.
because of anger.
Mm-hmm.
Children being affected.
Mm-hmm.
Children are seeing this, is affecting their growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's affecting them mentally and psychologically. And as you said, parents should know, use their children, for whatever it is, when, you're having argument or misunderstanding with your spouse or with your partner or with your husband or with your wife. You should, keep the children out of it, because they are innocent and they don't deserve, to see or to witness, anger that would affect them, when they go out there, when they're in school, and then they end up, kind of exhibiting the same behavior they've actually witnessed at home. 100%. So please just, keep your business to you and to your partner or to your lover or to your whoever. Don't get the children involved.
Thank you.
And don't use your children as a shade when you're having a fight or having an argument with your husband or with your wife or with anyone, because they are innocent and they don't deserve it.
They don't deserve it. That's the word.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much for contributing, for coming online today and contributing. I absolutely agree with you. They don't deserve it. I think that is the right word to use. The children don't deserve to be used like that, in that kind of situation. So to be honest, as parents, we should be able to, of course, it doesn't come with a handbook, but as we are parenting, we're learning, and we should not, exhibit those kind of behavior in front of our children, because they're going to learn and they're going to go out and do it, and it affects all of us. It affects the children, it affects the society, it affects them both at school, it affects whatever they do. In fact, it affects the whole community, and like you said, anger is not an issue that we just visit one time and and just let go. So hopefully as we go along, like every other issue that we're discussing, because we know that our issue that we discuss is things that is affecting us, you know, in the family, and affecting us raising our children properly, and affecting us becoming productive, you know, individuals in the community, things that affects all of us from the family to the society. So that's the things that we're discussing, and we know that those things are not in isolation. It's not something that we can just discuss one day and then, you know, and get it over with. No, it's things that we carry on discussing. Hence we have the line and say, even when we finish on air, you can still message us, you can still call us, you can still send us a WhatsApp message and so on and so forth, and we carry on discussing, and we revisit them. And when we find experts, when we find people, professionals who can come and give us advice, then we will bring them as well to come and, you know, talk to us about some of the issues that we bringing up, that we coming to you with, that we're discussing. But on that note, I want to love you all who joined us for the show today. I want to send a lot of love out to all of you, and acknowledge the ones that joined now. Prince, hi Prince, hi Chinyere, and the I think it's Russian name, Marco, and yeah, Chinyere. I can't pronounce that name. I think it's Russian, but I know you. I know you can see me because you're there, and I want to appreciate you for joining. I want to appreciate all of you for joining. Everyone who joined today, thank you very, very much for joining us. Unfortunately, I'd love to carry on chatting with you all day long, but you know, you can always message me. You can send us message on the Facebook. You can leave your comment there. You can comment on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, where all the places we're at. Send us your message, and if there is topic, any issue that you find that is plaguing your community and you want us to talk about it, you want us to look at it, just let us know, and then we will look at it and then bring it to the fore so that we can all share from it, we can all learn from it. And on that note, I want to love you. I want to dance you out, and a happy dance, you know. If you can dance me out on a happy dance, and just to say I love you all. And at, like, you know, every Monday we're here for you. Every Monday we're here to discuss our issues, 2 p.m. every Monday. And I want to apologize because we had a little bit of technical issue, hence we didn't start 2 p.m. on the dot, but we went too far behind. So apologize for those of you that were waiting, and thank you for, you know, being part of the discussion today, and hope to see you next week, 2 p.m. Next Monday, while we bring you another hot topic, issue, one issue that is challenging to us, you know, challenging our families, our community, our children, and so on and so forth, our society. So on that note, remain happy, keep dancing, happy dance. Yeah, I want you to remain happy wherever you are. I want to send a lot of love to all of you. So much love. The world is beautiful. The world is full of love. A lot of love from my heart to all of you. And those of you going through anything at the moment, receive a lot of love, receive a lot of happiness, and feel happy and feel good. And, you know, love you all, and thank you.